Good morning. How are you today? The doyens of bullion and jewelry industry who are present here today. Among them, Mr. Kothari, the President, the Secretary, Mr. Salendra Mehta, Director, Mr. Vasubhai Acharya, another Harish Bhai from Dubai, and other distinguished guests who are sitting on the dais. Today is the International Women's Day. So I would like to offer my respectful pranam, namaskar to all the ladies who are present here today. It looks like this is a male-dominated business. There are not many ladies in the audience, but I see quite a few, and I would like to offer my pranam to all of them. Wish you all a happy Women's Day, and let us all resolve to respect the women who are actually the right people behind all of us. So they are a motivation for us. They take care of us so very well. And so we must acknowledge their contribution today in our existence. I'd also like to offer my salutation. I would like to salute the founders of this kind of association 106 years ago. Those people who had visualized the importance of coming together as a business group. And I also respect those people who have continued this tradition by making this association more and more relevant today. It is a phenomenal journey of this association, and to find that this is one association which is being trusted by government in terms of the price that they declare, that is something phenomenal. Normally, all the business people have to look forward to government's benchmark. Here is one benchmark, IBJA price, which is depended upon by RBI and Ministry of Finance also. So my compliments to all of you for creating this kind of a trust in the activities of the association. As far as the summit is concerned, I think it is the right thing to do for all of you, because I always believe that there is no greater power in the world than the knowledge. And no business can flourish without understanding the context, without understanding from each other what are the contours of the business and how we are going about it in the future. It's a very good initiative, all of you coming together and discussing the future of the business. That's something very wonderful. And especially the younger generation who come into business, for them also it's a great opportunity to learn from senior people how the business is being done in this. So this 3-day event is a very good initiative. My compliments to organizers for this. Normally, I don't go for any function. You must have rarely seen in Bombay landscape, there are so many seminars and conclaves and leadership conclave and other things happening. But I don't go for any function normally. When Vasubhai invited me, I don't know what happened, but I immediately said yes. Then I analyzed, why did I make an exception? And then I found that in the back of my mind, there was always a desire to understand the gold trade little better. So it was my purpose of knowing little better about the gold trade and how we can formalize it and how we can use IIBX as an instrument for this. So there were two objectives for me to come here. One was to learn, which I did. Yesterday I had a meeting with all the industry doyens and I tried to learn what is all this EGR proposal all about, what are the issues of GST, etc. And my second purpose was, of course, as chairman of GIFT City, it is my duty to promote IIBX also. So I just wanted to promote IIBX. I really appreciate the diplomacy which Mr. Kothari and Mr. Rokde have used today. Mr. Kothari didn't speak a word about any demand. He didn't say anything. And he made Mr. Rokde talk about all their demands. So what a born homie. What kind of a alliance they've got, you know. I mean, two business councils, they are not competing, but they are complementing each other. And that's the great thing about this shed. So I appreciate what you have done. Today, friends, I'll talk about three things. One, about the Indian economy. Where are we now? Two, I'll talk a little bit about GIFT City. And three, I will talk a little bit about IIBX and the role that it can play. So there are three topics for me to discuss. One by one, I'll cover all three of them. The first thing is Indian economy. As all of you know, we are one of the fastest growing major economies of the world. Rather, the fastest growing major economy of the world. For the last 3 to 4 years. It's doing very well in a way, but we must realize that we are facing some headwinds. One, of course, is the geopolitical situation of war between Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Hamas. All this is probably vitiating the trade atmosphere in the last few years. And now on top of it, as we see last few days, the cyclone which is coming from USA, the tariff trade war, which we are hearing about, don't be complacent about it. A lot of people seem to be thinking in India that no, it's not going to affect us so much, even if the tariffs are imposed. But please remember, whether the tariffs are imposed on Indian commodities or not, the collateral damage of the tariffs being imposed on China or on Canada or on Mexico will come to India. The collateral damage will happen. And we have to be prepared for it. So don't be so complacent. We have to watch out for the next few months how the international trade is shaping up. We are in a critical juncture where a lot of things are going to change now. It's going to be a multipolar world. And we were very safe as long as globalization was proceeding very appropriately. But now is a trend where globalization is taking a reverse turn. And that's something which is not going to be useful to any country, for that matter. The philosophy behind globalization stands good even today. That the countries which are most price competitive in terms of making that commodity makes it and exports it. And the other countries which are good at making other things, those are imported into our country. And there are cost efficiencies involved in this. Those reasoning will stay today also. And if we are going against the globalization, everybody is going to be harmed in the process. So let us keep our fingers crossed. Let us hope that something good will come out of this churning which is happening and India is benefited out of it. The second point I want to talk about is, of course, as far as India is concerned, we are lucky to have a leader like our present Prime Minister. Number of structural reforms he has done. The amount of political will shown by him to execute the most toughest of the decisions is phenomenal. It was because of that political will at that time, and also the greatness of Mr. Arun Jaitley, political will of Mr. Modi and greatness of Mr. Arun Jaitley, and also somebody like me who also became an instrument in implementing GST. So GST became possible because of strong political will and the personality, the leadership of having a consensus being built among the states by Mr. Jaitley. That was very useful. And that's why GST became a possibility. Friends, talking of GIFT City, I don't know, still not many people have really realized the importance of GIFT City. I would request all of you, those of you who have not still visited GIFT City, to please come and see what we are trying to do. It's a vision of our Prime Minister to sort of bring to India all the financial transactions which are otherwise happening elsewhere in other financial centers. And for that, a red carpet has been laid in terms of tax incentives, in terms of regulatory environment, and a lot of other things. Not only the right kind of impetus is given by regulatory environment and the tax concession, but this is a city which is a futuristic city in which all the world-class infrastructure is being created and social infrastructure is being created. So it's going to be a smart city of the future where it will be a pleasure to work. And in that city, I mean, the amount of business all the people are doing, you can't even imagine. There are more than 30 banks who are already there. And I think all the big foreign banks, you name it and they are there. Even the Indian banks, most of them are there. All nationalized banks, private banks, foreign banks, all of them are there. And the turnover of business is rising very fast, very fast. I remember when I was chairman of Bank of Baroda for 5 years, 2019 to 2024, we had 125 branches when I joined Bank of Baroda, international branches. And because of GIFT City, we could wind up so many of them. And now I think Bank of Baroda is left with only 60, 70 branches. All the business of the other branches, we brought it to GIFT City. All the ECBs, external commercial borrowings, which is being given by banks to Indian corporates, that came to GIFT City. The treasury management functions came to GIFT City. Most of the banks are having the treasury management functions in GIFT City now. So they're doing phenomenal business. They're doing all very well. The second business which is doing very well is the fund business. Lot of private equity funds, they shifted to GIFT City from Singapore, from Dubai, from Hong Kong. And they are also having a lot of commitments now. And for them, it has become so easy to get the same kind of atmosphere as they had in Singapore or Dubai and invest in Indian market or in Southeast Asian market, sitting in GIFT City. So that business is also thriving. More than 110 funds are already there. And I think more than 60 have raised resources also in those funds. And they have made investment. So that's the second business, doing very well. Insurance and reinsurance, again, a very good scope. Because as you know, all the Indian insurance companies had to go to London or Singapore for getting their reinsurance. Now, all those reinsurance companies have come to GIFT City. And it's easy for Indian insurance companies to get the reinsurance sitting in GIFT City. So that's another business which has come. Aircraft leasing and ship leasing, another very big activity. Do you all know that Indian airline companies have an order book of 2,000 aircrafts given to various Boeings and Airbuses of the world. And as on today, those aircrafts are leased out of Ireland and other countries. So with the right kind of regulatory environment, we are trying to bring those leasing activity, aircraft leasing and ship leasing activity to GIFT City. Yesterday only we had a seminar in GIFT City in which Union Civil Aviation Minister was also there in GIFT City. There was a seminar on this activity, lease activity for aircraft and ships. So that is another activity which is doing very well. Already about 63 aircrafts are leased out of GIFT City. Some are wide body aircraft, some are smaller aircrafts, but 63 of them are leased out of GIFT City. And finally, of course, we have got the IIBX, the gold bullion activity there in GIFT City. And with Mr. Ashok Gautam, who is present here leading it, I'm very happy to say that in the current year, more than 80 ton of gold is shredded in IIBX. Last year, what was the figure? It was in kilograms. And this year, 80 ton is already shredded. It should be our ambition to see that at least 50% of the gold being imported in India comes through IIBX. That is our ambition, at least 50%. As far as gold trade is concerned, I'm very curious about the gold trade. And I always want to understand how we can formalize this trade more and more. And in order to formalize it, we still have some kind of a informal trade going on in gold. Can we reduce it to zero and can we formalize the whole trade so that systematically everybody is able to operate in this market? So that is my objective always. And in that thing, if required, I would also like, yesterday I was trying to discuss with them. They tell me that out of our total income of more than 20 lakh crore of GST per annum, I was trying to understand what is the figure of GST coming out of gold, bullion and jewelry trading. Somebody gave me a figure of 18,000 crore, 20,000 crore. I'm not too sure whether this is but if it is such a small figure, we can always play with it a little bit without losing revenue and do something to formalize the trade. And that's what our objective should be. So we will see how best to go about it. I'll also try to understand. And wherever possible, I'll also try to help the industry. So I don't want to talk much about it. There is going to be a lot of discussion around even IIBX. And I'm sure in one of the panels, Mr. Gautam will also talk about it. So I just want to conclude by saying Indian economy is doing very well. Remain confident, but at the same time, just understand where the world is going. And for that, knowledge is power. Try to understand what are the headwinds, where are the headwinds going. Don't be complacent. That's all I want to say. As far as gold is concerned, I appreciate what all of you are doing, but we need to also have more and more formalization of gold trade in India. We are trying our best. The banks, Indian banks, were not allowed to be counterparty for trade in IIBX. We requested Nirmala ji, she called a meeting. She was convinced about it and she immediately told RBI that no, we must do this. And then it happened. And it's only after that that the volumes have gone up now. So whatever hindrances are there in the bullion trade, we would like to remove them and we'd like to support you. If Mr. Kothari and the organizers want, I can take a couple of questions. if anybody wants to ask any question, you're most welcome. I can take a couple of questions. Thank you very much. Thank you.